What's going on, YouTube community? Here with another video. This is going to be a series of videos, and it's going to be my road to homeownership videos. And so I'm going to start off with a kind of the basics, where to start with getting into home ownership. And the biggest first step is the pre-qualification or pre-approval. So we're going to talk about what those two things are, the pros and the cons between those, and then documents required to properly get a pre-approval, and then we'll talk about next steps. So let's just jump right into it. So road to homeownership, pre-qualification, what is that? So a lot of times this is actually what you will get from some lenders. It is when the lender performs a quick check to determine your affordability, how much you can get with buying a house. And what we mean by quick check is usually it doesn't pull credit. So most pre-qualifications don't pull credit. There are some pre-qualifications out there that do. But again, the biggest thing, it gives you a plan. If you're buying in the future, just say you're 6, 8 months, maybe a year down the future, you're planning on buying a house, and you just kind of want to talk to somebody to see where you stand right now and what you need to do. They might do a pre-qualification for you. The biggest thing with pre-qualification is they don't check any information. Usually pay stubs are not collected. As I said, credit sometimes does not get pulled, sometimes it does, depends on certain lenders. And it'll give you kind of a budget on what you're expecting in the future, on how much a payment will be and what you possibly can afford. Now, what it is not a pre-approval. Pre-qualification is not a pre-approval. This is not something you want to go into the housing market with and make an offer. It's just not sturdy. It's not strong when putting in an offer. When that listing agent is looking at multiple offers and they're seeing these pre-approval letters that are going with them, or pre-qualification letters that are going with them, I'll tell you 9 times out of 10 a pre-qualification letter is going to get thrown to the side and not even be entertained. So here's the cons with the pre-qualification, and these are my opinions. Each lender might have their own opinions, but I'm not a big fan of pre-qualifications, just because when I'm putting my offer letter out there for somebody to go buy a house and give to a realtor, my reputation's on the line just as much as the buyers. And so I want to make sure both of us are going into the offer step strong and with a quality pre-approval. But pre-qualification is weak. No information is validated. Credit is usually not pulled, and it may cause the deal to go south. Pre-qualification, you might get a surprise once you actually pull credit, or once you collect pay stub history, or once you collect assets and bank statements, and you see maybe you didn't have everything you thought to put an offer in on that house, and now you can't afford a house that big or that's cost that much. That is the last thing anybody wants, is you put in an offer and stuff goes south, and then everybody's upset. Realtors, the buyers, the sellers, the lenders upset. Everybody's upset. It's not a strong offer. And it's going to create a terrible experience if that happens. I mean, how much would you hate to find out, oh, I can afford this $300,000 house. You put it in, then we actually collect pay stubs and bank statements, and then it's like, well, your income's not as much as you said because, you just got a one-time bonus that 1 year, and, we can't use that. So, pre-qualifications, not the strongest out there. It can help you if you've got a little while to shop before you're really wanting to buy a house and kind of want to know where you stand. But in the instance of putting an offer in right now, pre-qualification is not the way to go. Pre-approval is, though. The pre-approval, man, it's the best thing out there. So this is when a lender verifies and examines the buyer's debt, their income, their assets. We're going to pull credit. We're going to confirm all the information. And it's verified. We do look at your credit because it is hard. It's impossible to tell you what you can afford without seeing what you owe. When you're making an offer, it's much stronger to see, hey, we're pre-approved, we verified income, and we have verified your assets for the closing. So better focus on homes you can afford. You're not going out there thinking, oh, maybe I can afford a $300,000 house and maybe I can only afford a $250,000. This tells you exactly what you can afford and what to put those offers out there when buying a house. And you can budget better. If you find out maybe with a pre-approval, you wanted to buy a $250,000 house, but maybe you can only afford a $200,000 house right now. That's when your mortgage advisor comes into play and says, hey, here's what you can do to maybe get into that house in the future. Maybe you've got some excess debt that you need to pay off. Or maybe you can get a cosigner, something to help you out with getting that income up to afford a bigger house. That's where a good mortgage advisor comes into play, but it'll help you definitely budget better. What a pre-approval is not, it's still not a guarantee. Although we verified income and verified assets, there can always be those hiccups that we just can't foresee. Say you had the wrong dates on what you told us. That's one thing we can't really verify up front is your start and end dates, or maybe something got miscommunicated and we didn't know there was a gap of employment somewhere, and that can kind of affect your pre-approval. There's multiple factors out there that can kind of cause this to not be a guarantee. It's stronger, but just know it's not a guarantee. The one thing a lot of lenders can do is what's called a conditional pre-approval, and what that is where we actually send it to an underwriter to review the information and come back and say, hey, looking at all the information we got here, we're good. That's an even stronger pre-approval option. Not one that a lot of people do now. A lot of them put it through what's called an AUS system, an automated underwriting system. And that automated system will look at the information that's in the program that they've put in and your application and say, hey, yeah, we're pre-approved. But just know it's not a guarantee. There's always hiccups. There's stuff that we don't know that maybe the lender didn't think to ask, or maybe you didn't think was important to tell us that we found out during the process and unfortunately caused it to fall apart. So the cons, it takes a little more time if you're not prepared. So with a pre-approval, just know you're going to need to provide documents to your lender. So be prepared. Be prepared. We're going to talk about those documents that you need here in the next steps. But also found this quote that I loved. Step by step, place become property, property became a mortgage, and mortgages become a derivative investment. So loved seeing that quote. It's just like it is. It's one step at a time. You get your pre-approval, you put your offer in, you get the house, you've got the mortgage, and now you've got the biggest investment of your life. Man, it's awesome. It's one of the biggest assets you'll ever buy. And it should be an awesome experience, and you should have fun with it, and should be so excited when you get to the closing table. So, what is needed to get a pre-approval? Next section here. Here's the typical items your lender's going to ask you for a pre-approval. They want W-2s for the last 2 years, pay stubs for the most recent 30 days worth of pay, and they're going to want your asset statements for the most recent 2 months, most recent quarter if it's a quarterly statement, but your bank statements, your investment statements, wherever the money is coming from to put towards the down payment and closing costs, they want to see that information. They may ask for, if a family member is providing you a gift, they may ask for that family member's bank statements, because certain loan products require you to know that information. We have to collect that information. So if your parents are giving you a gift, prepare them that they may have to provide bank statements to the lender to prove where that money came from. Some other items that may come up just depending on how your income is calculated. If you're commissioned, self-employed, you already own investment properties or a property. Maybe the big thing right now is you're getting relocated. So for the self-employed commission borrowers, your contracted labor, no, you're going to need 2 years tax returns, and we're going to need to see the full tax returns. And if you have business tax returns, yep, we're going to need 2 years of those. Current home information. If you have a current mortgage, just know we're going to need the mortgage statement, homeowner's insurance, and property tax bill if you plan on keeping that property. We have to know that information to make sure we're calculating your debts correctly. And then if you're relocating or you just got a raise, something like that, we may request a letter from your employer stating what your income will be or that your income will not be affected by the move. So get this stuff and have it ready, because we're going to ask for it for a pre-approval. Definitely W-2s, pay stubs, bank statements. Those are going to be your typical ones. But for those unique clients, just know this is also information we will ask for as well. Now, here is the full list of items that may get asked. So you can pause the video if you want, zoom in, look at it, write it down. Don't write it down because I'm going to tell you something here later at the video. But here's the full list of stuff that we may ask for. It's a lot. Every loan is unique. Every loan is different. It's like a fingerprint. Each has its own stuff. So just know all this checklist of items may come into play if you're getting a pre-approval or getting a mortgage loan. So now, what's the next steps? What mortgage type is right for you? So now you're pre-approved. Now we need to figure out what mortgage product works best for you and your situation. That's going to be in my next video. This was just step one, talking about pre-approvals, talking about pre-qualifications, talking about what documents you need to have ready. Having all that stuff ready for your lender will speed up the process and make a smoother process. It takes a village to do a mortgage loan. There is a ton of people involved with a purchase transaction of a house. I think when I looked it up, it's an average of like 29 people that are involved in helping you get to the closing table, between title, lenders, realtors, inspectors. The sellers are having to help with their things, making sure that people have access to the property. There are so many people involved within each part of that, the appraiser. It does take a village. So have that stuff ready. Make that experience as best for you as possible. It's a huge investment and it should be exciting. You should be having fun with it. So, again, I'm Brad the Mortgage Dad, here to help you, educate you on buying a house. Brad Howard's my name. There's my email, bradthemortgagedad.com. And guess what? If you want, I have a book of Road to Homeownership that talks about everything we talked about in this video. It's got it in writing. I can send you an electronic copy or a physical copy if that's something you want. If you're a realtor and you want that for your buyers, then by all means, shoot me an email. Love to talk to you. If you're a buyer and you want a copy of the Road to Homeownership, let me know. Shoot me an email. Give me a call. I'm happy to give this to you and get you pre-approved if that's what you're looking for. So thanks so much for watching the video. We have the next video coming at you on the right product for you. That one's probably going to be a little bit longer video. There is a lot to go over. We might even break it down onto the different product types, but hope this helped you guys. Get a pre-approval, don't get a pre-qualification, and have your documents ready. Can't wait to hear from you guys. Hope you like the Road to Homeownership book that we have. Again, Brad the Mortgage Dad, and we'll see you in the next video. All right?